10-second cars, family, and space? The Fast Saga is going to court, stirring a bit of Loki into the mix, and this quarter-mile issue just got interesting. Hit that nitrous boost, roll the intro! From 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, in the heart of Uptown Whittier, Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue number 53. My name is Bryan.
Rene.
I'm Nick.
And welcome to the show, everyone.
Hey. You know, he does that intro really well. It's almost as if he wrote it.
It's almost like he did it ahead of time.
It's almost as if he knew what the words were.
It's almost as if he planned all of this.
No,
sure.
It didn't. Don't you lie.
Is camera A good real quick? I know
I can see you from
here. Yeah, I can see you.
It's not obscure or anything like that.
No, not at all.
No, you're fine. Don't worry. It doesn't look like you're short or anything like that. I trust you. I have to trust you guys because I'm not the one looking at this camera now. I'm in charge of looking at camera B.
I feel like this episode's going to have a lot of hostility and just the start
I'm about
of
to
it right now.
Go over this table.
If you guys can't tell, we're preamped. We had coffee. Now we're going to have energy drinks on top of that.
It's going to be a good one.
This is going to be a full-fledged
So, actually, yes. What were you going to say, Nick?
No, I'll be right back.
What happened?
No, you guys do you. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
Now, so let's go. What's going on here? Okay. Now, so, yes, welcome, guys, to issue 53 of Keeping Up with the Nerds. Mm-hmm. Yes, this is going to be a fun one because this week we went to go see Fast 9.
Fast 9, yes.
So that was an interesting one, and we're going to be taking it to court. Why? Because, funny enough, amongst the three of us, don't look at Nick. Don't worry about him. Funny enough, we all had different takes on this.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
yeah.
And I think that actually, we were talking about it yesterday.
It's funny because, if you guys will find on the podcast, one side's on the it wasn't great, and one side is it was not amazing, but it was no, it's really good, and one side's in the middle.
Yeah.
So one of
that
us,
middle is going to be you.
I'm the middle part.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know or already tell, you can tell which one will be it was great.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be an interesting one, but we wanted to save that for.
You're shaking
get the drink.
What did it spill?
Yeah.
Gosh, damn it.
Okay, nothing happened. Cut the camera down.
Are we good?
See what you did when you tried to make a joke, Nick?
In all fairness, that was hilarious. Back to my little cave.
We're back, folks, after a little bit of a technical difficulty. Spilled drinks and just some ridiculous stuff. Yes, this just like the Fast Saga, this went off the rails real quick.
Perfect.
But before we jump into the main topics of the podcast, that was a little fun sidetrack. Mm-hmm. Before we jump into the main topics of the podcast, we have a little bit of an announcement. Our buddy here, Rene, had his birthday on the 20th of June.
Yes.
And we didn't mention it last week. We waited until this week to celebrate it. But here on the podcast, Rene, Nick and I have a little something for you.
No.
Yes. There's video now. Nick, come out of the cave already, sir.
God damn it, it's stuck.
Aw, guy.
We got you a cake.
Dude, I'm like Mary Poppins in this thing.
Oh, it's Batman candles. No way.
And
what?
A present to go with the cake.
Did you wait? Hold on. Can you still see me?
Yes, you can.
Okay, no, I have no idea.
Should I just blow them out, or you guys?
Well, do we sing Happy Birthday?
No,
that's copywritten.
What?
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
No way.
Yeah. So here's how we'll do it. I'm just gonna say Happy Birthday to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't give you the whole thing, buddy.
All right, here we go. Nick,
and
ready?
Also, here's the awkward part.
we didn't bring a knife, and we did not bring forks.
I have some in the office. In the back.
So I don't know how you're eating
We'll figure
that.
this out.
I don't know how you're gonna eat it, but I demand that be finished
Just
by the end of the podcast.
Matilda the whole way. All right, here we go. Ready?
right.
Here we go. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
Happy birthday
to
to
you.
you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
Happy birthday
to
to you.
Oh, thank you.
Renee.
from the nerds, baby.
Woo!
This is really sweet. Thank you.
Now blow my candles.
Let me get ready then.
Wait, the fire alarm.
I know.
Ow!
Is there I don't know if there's smoke detectors or not in here.
What happened?
Did it really? Did like Amber get you?
How does giving you a birthday cake end so terribly?
This is a great first 10 minutes of the show. We got spilled drinks. We got 2 cuss words. We got people burning. Possible fire. Oh, it smells like ember.
It literally blew off.
Is there a fire detector? Is there a smoke
I don't
detector?
think so.
No?
Because there's, if anything, there's the AC's blowing, so it's like
Okay.
it's moving it.
Hang on. I got to give you your present.
No,
sir.
I don't know what it was. He blew it out. And then immediately I just felt pain in my arm. And I went, ah! I'm like, what the hell?
That was great.
What kind of cheap ass Batman candles did I buy?
Where'd you get the Batman candles from?
In the Mexican market.
No wonder. No wonder it hit you.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I was surprised they had brand named Batman candles. I
That's
thought
true,
I thought they were
yeah.
gonna be it would be like the Batman, but it's like all deformed and stuff.
Like the ice cream popsicles,
Yeah.
like that.
His name is Catman.
Gato Man.
Gato Man.
It's Gato Man.
Oh, man. People are going to enjoy the first 10 minutes of this. This is great.
Oh my god, so many wrapping. Is there anything in here or no?
No.
Okay. Oh, what the oh, it's so cool! It's a white kyber crystal.
See it?
That's so sick. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy.
Now all you need is an actual lightsaber.
I know.
So I got you the white one
Yes.
because I think that if you do the experience out
Yeah.
there, you need to pick the crystal that best fits you.
Yes.
And white and yellow
Uh-huh.
are the only 2 that aren't selectable
Yeah.
in the experience.
Really? If you already bought one, can you put it in? Can you just go, I have this one?
Well,
and then I'll
essentially,
take this one?
when you're paying for it, you essentially get a kyber crystal out of it. You're paying for a kyber crystal.
I should have brought the saber today, but I'll bring it next week.
Yeah.
But the saber, Renee saw it yesterday when we were hanging out.
Brian let me play with his lightsaber yesterday. It was very smooth.
Yeah.
It was shiny and everything.
Oh, God.
It was heavier than I thought.
All I know is I was playing with it out here, and I'm like,
Give that back to you.
and that's yours.
Did I show you
didn't
the white
realize it
kyber
was-
crystal and the lightsaber yesterday?
I think so. Oh no.
No. Okay. Well, there
Were
you
you
go.
guys, were you guys showing
Oh yeah, you showed me the orange or yellow one.
The
Yeah.
yellow
hold
one.
on,
yeah.
were you guys showing each other your wands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what nerds do.
Yeah, you just whipped out your
We
blades.
just whipped out or
Just
just
whipped
our-
out your blades
our
and your
sabers,
kyber crystals.
man.
Saber.
Then that's when Brian tells you it's legendary.
Good bits, guys.
Only,
Let me
only
get some stuff for the cake here because I have actually knives and forks in
You know what the funny thing is? I didn't realize that the cake was bigger than the box. That's why if you look at the cake,
Yeah.
it's mildly smashed. And she didn't put it in a proper, which I think is really silly
Yeah.
that the market doesn't have a box that fits the cake.
This cake was abnormal.
So, you guys can see right here. It's like
It's smashed on top. Because she
Whatever you
literally-
do, don't drop the cake. We've already had 2
I'm
different
not gonna pull a
accidents.
Nick right now.
There's only a 3-strike. There's a 3-strike rule.
say what you will. That was hilarious.
That was funny. Yeah. Hold on.
That was a great bit. It was a great. If I would have gotten the lighter, it would have been fine. And then also, I have to learn to stop playing with lighters.
You gotta just stop in general.
No, because I don't know if you heard me underneath the table. Because I lit the lighter, but I was playing with the on and off, like the higher one.
No, I have headphones on. I'm not gonna be able to listen to anything.
Do I have a? Where's that lighter? Oh, where's that lighter at?
Oh God, please don't. You already spilled half your drink. You got burned. The last thing we need is like again. There's this 3-strike rule, buddy.
What? We have a guy for pyrotechnics. He's over there.
All right. So while Renee's getting,
he's right there.
he's right there.
See, because when I was a kid, I learned that you can like play with this.
Okay.
So when I get fidgety, I do it, and unfortunately, it like becomes a flamethrower.
Oh yeah.
If you do it right. Well, when I was underneath the table.
No.
Well, no. So like when I was under the table, it didn't go flamethrower, but for some reason, I guess it was leaking, and then like this would like the top wouldn't go out, and I was like, oh shit.
Thanks for cussing again. That's 3.
Hey man. We're gonna cut this part of the podcast out anyway, so it's fine.
No, we're keeping this.
Damn it.
Why would I not?
I don't know.
All right, can we jump into the main topics now?
Yeah, go for it.
Now that we've exhausted the bits about burning and spilling and stuff.
I just tried to light a cake on fire, and it just turned into chaos. This is why you don't ask me to do things.
All right, so let's jump into the Fast saga.
Just went nuts.
Yesterday, we went into the movies and we went to go see Fast 9, just like we said in the beginning of the podcast.
Right.
And we came out with different takes on the film. And as we were debating on our different takes, we had the idea of why not just putting it on the issue here? Why not have a little bit of fun of it?
First off, we weren't debating. Me and Rene were telling you were wrong.
No, Rene was not saying that I was wrong. He was in the middle.
Agreeing with me, and you don't want to admit it. It's okay, Rene. I can speak for you. But
I'm so glad you can.
yeah, you're enjoying cake. It's fine. You were wrong.
No. Okay, so here's how we're going to set this up. Because you're going to keep telling me I'm wrong. I'm going to tell you you're wrong.
Brian,
but we're not going to convince each other that the other person's right.
Brian, my love.
No, listen. No, it's not.
This is
not
the way we'll die. I'm telling you you're wrong. Like that's just the way we're gonna die one of these days.
It's whoever dies first at their funeral. They're gonna be like, "Look, you were never right."
Exactly.
That's how it's gonna be.
Exactly. And then I'm gonna throw a rock inside of the building and just see you resurrect.
Just get out of line.
And
like,
you come
who
out
threw the rock?
And you're gonna just go. "Ugh." I'll prove zombies are real just by throwing a rock. you come back.
So Nick and I are going to be the two with the
opinion.
Yes, and Rene, who enjoyed the film.
I did enjoy the film overall.
And was
the cake.
dead
Cake's
in the
actually
middle.
Nice. Cake's actually really nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
You're dead in the middle on this, right?
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, he's dead inside. There's a difference.
So you're going to be the judge here. You're going to be the judge.
Yeah. Hold on. Passing cake to Brian.
Sir.
Thank you.
And you're going to be the one deciding or keeping order during this entire debate.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we've taken movies to court, and I think it was Die Hard the
It
first
was
time
Die
we did.
Hard, and then it was another one that we did, didn't we? Or
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But this is
either.
the first time that Nick's going to be a part of the court.
Yes, the court.
Who's prosecution and who's defendant?
Dun dun.
Who's the prosecution? Who's the defendant?
Obviously, your defense.
You're the defense.
Why am I? Oh, that's right, because I'm defending Fast 9.
He's trying to.
Why would you be in prosecution and defending Fast 9? How does that make sense?
I don't know. I didn't think it through.
Like usual.
He's going to be real salty about this one.
That's what I'm saying. This is gonna.
He's going to be real hard on this one.
This is gonna be
Some
an
feelings
interesting
might get
issue,
hurt.
man.
Some things might actually get thrown.
Oh, I'm going to tell you right now.
Some insults might be thrown our way as well.
Just don't throw the cake.
No cussing. Right?
First off.
Don't light anything on fire.
Hey, first off, I have destroyed many a relationship by an argument of nerd stuff.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what relationships did you destroy?
I was gonna say, you're gonna say like your own.
I mean, there's a lot of like girl I was dating, and then they go like, "Star Wars is dumb," and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, that's where you're going to walk away.
I'm like, "Oh, well, looks like I can't date you anymore."
I don't think I've destroyed. I've like left friendships. Yeah, just based off like nerdy stuff.
Is it just me, or does this cake taste like butter?
Yeah.
Like a lot of butter.
It's like very moist.
We're
It's
gonna
like
be,
it's moist, but I tasted a lot of butter.
Where'd you get it from?
Vallarta.
Oh, okay.
I guess at the Mexican market.
you might need to eat away from the mic because I can hear you chewing on it.
Welcome
Stop!
to.
This isn't an ASMR.
No, this is a
friggin' one.
mukbang.
It's a mukbang.
The mukbang, yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's get down to business.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to tell you you're wrong.
Let's get down to business. Rene, please present the case in front of us. and you're going to be moderating us and making sure that we each have appropriate time to talk
Yes.
about the movie.
So basically, the case today is that Fast 9 lives up to its own like franchise? Is this a good movie?
Does it live up to the hype?
Yeah, does it live up to the hype? And is it a good sequel into the Fast and the Furious franchise? Was this a good sequel after Fast 8 and stuff like that? Nick's already like, no, I know. But Bryan will be presenting his case that Fast 9 is just as good as any other Fast and the Furious movie because of how they are now. Nick, on the other hand, will present his case where this movie did not live up to past Fast and the Furious movies. This one was, I think you would agree that it's the worst one? Or
Yes.
Okay.
I stayed up until 5 o'clock in the morning last night.
Doing what? Were you writing something?
No, I was rewatching movies.
Did you rewatch it?
I rewatched movies.
Oh, I
oh.
was like,
Did you
how did
torrent
you rewatch?
it?
Yeah, I turned.
Torrented F9.
Yeah, I turned back around and then I walked into the movie theater and then I was like, "You guys got a midnight screening? Let's do this."
But yeah, so that will be, and then I will be the one that I am on
God.
both sides of it. I
Sure,
liked it,
sure you
but
are,
then,
buddy.
but then there's certain things that I didn't agree with it.
Okay.
You know,
So who are you going to allow to talk first?
Well,
that's
in
interesting.
all fairness, it's always in debate fashion. It's always defendant.
Oh, you just want me to talk so you can basically come in and be like, well, let me tell you why you're wrong.
No, that's.
I already
how it-
presented you the evidence I'm going to be using.
In debate fashion, that is how it goes. Unless you want the prosecution to set its case first, and then you rip my case apart.
That's so.
Which
So
one?
you,
would
so I'll let you decide. Do you want to go first, or do you want Nick to go first?
Well, I don't want Nick to be super mean. Otherwise, I'm going to be super demoralized right
I'm
off the
not
bat.
gonna be mean. What makes you think I'm gonna be mean?
Because it's you. What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Okay, fine. I'll go first.
I'm coming for you, Brian.
So I'm going to start off by saying that your statement at the beginning, Rene, where you said, that this movie is basically kind of like a copy of the other movies, right? How did you state it at the beginning? You said something that was
What?
like kind of off.
Oh, maybe did I say like, does it live up to other Fast and the Furious?
That it
movies?
lives up to the other Fast and
Yeah.
Furious
Does
movies.
it? Okay. Does it go?
What are you doing? Why are you have to write this?
I have to take notes
For what?
for what you said.
You're not going to win.
I have to rebuttal you, so that means I have to take
Yeah,
notes.
rebuttal with your mind.
I'm a visual
Stop being a
learner.
coward. Don't write.
I'm a visual learner.
So, okay, a visual?
Yeah, I have to see my notes.
God. I don't agree with that statement.
Okay.
Okay? I think that that's an unfair statement to
Okay.
say.
Then
That
I'm a
it
visual
lives
learner.
up to the rest of the Fast movies. Because for me personally, you can't compare every Fast movie to itself or to the other ones. If that made any sense.
Yeah, no, I see what you're gonna go with it. Go for it.
My main argument is going to be this. To simply state that this movie is crap is like looking at a piece of crap and saying it's crap, already knowing it's going to be crap.
Okay.
That's my statement.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not going to defend this movie and say that this is the best Fast and Furious movie out of all 9 of them, or all 10 of them, excuse me.
Yeah.
All 10, right? I'm just going to say that I think that this movie did an okay job for what it has become.
Okay.
That's all it is. And I feel like a lot of people are going to come into this movie with the expectations that it's going to be a Fast and Furious movie and then completely forget that this franchise died out after Tokyo Drift. It wasn't meant to continue. We talked about this last night, right after the film, that there are different genres that this movie went into.
Yeah.
Right.
1, 2, and 3 were all about street racing. 4 was the rebirth. They tried to Jurassic Park that crap. They essentially said, we're going to try to bring it back to what it was originally,
Right.
and it didn't work.
Well, because in 4 originally the franchise was dying.
Yes.
Nobody went to go see 4. 4 had like really low box office return, and then that's when they got the reboot king at the time.
Justin
Dwayne
Lin?
Dwayne the Rock Johnson with.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It was like the director.
Because that was the advertising.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it was like, oh, The Rock's gonna join the
the
Fast and
Rock's-
Furious world.
Yeah, Rock's joining the family and stuff like that. Justin Lin, I think, joined in the 4th one. Wasn't
He
that a Justin
directed
Lin?
the 3rd one, and then they brought him back to do 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But regardless of it, they tried a Jurassic Park #4. They made 5 and 6 an action movie. No, 5, 6, and 7 were action movies, and then 8 and 9 are basically Universal's bootleg version of Mission Impossible. That's the way I see it, and that's why I'm saying you can't compare each movie with another one because they're all essentially different. You know, that's gonna be my opening statement. Crap is crap, and to say it's crap, stating the obvious. Okay. Renee, you want to?
What a statement. It's crap. That's what it is. Just why?
My defendant is
mega
guilty
crap.
of being crap.
My defendant is guilty of being crap. Here's my thing, though. I see it as that of crap's sake, of movies that are pretty dog, like pretty bad, like they're dog food. Like there's nothing that's there that really I need or anything else, but it's something that is entertaining. And that's the thing, though, is that because every single Fast and the Furious movie since 3 going up till now, they've all had a through line. There's always been a story, a villain that they're trying to defeat, all the way up to the ending. The villain's trying to accomplish something, and you go in, and then we go into it. Now, the way that we solve this is always changed. It's a heist. It's a Mission Impossible movie. Different stuff. It's street racing. However you do it. But the main problem with this movie is that it did not have that same through line. It was almost as if because of COVID, I'm giving it that benefit of the doubt that it was COVID that hurt this movie, not the fact that they just got lazy.
Okay.
Because this movie felt lazy to me. There was a lot of stuff that they just went, it's a Fast and the Furious movie. It's fine. It felt like Joel Schumacher directed this thing. Because at a certain point, I felt like somebody was saying, it's just a comic book or it's just Fast and the Furious. It doesn't need to make sense. And I'll give you the fact that Fast and the Furious, a lot of the times doesn't make sense, but it's a hyper-realistic. They don't use all of physics or anything like that, but they just expand on it. This movie at a certain point just went, forget it. That's not what we're doing anymore. We're just going to give in to Twitter, and we're going to give the fans what they want. The fans want them to go to space. We're going to send them to space.
Objection.
Hey, first off,
Fans did not want it to go to space.
that is a lie.
I'm objecting.
No.
Why?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Judge.
No, it's not.
Hold on.
Wait.
I said
hold on.
objection.
You can't object in an opening argument. Learn the law.
Now, this is nerd court.
No. I didn't object during yours.
That's true.
You could have, but did you?
No, because you told me I couldn't, you liar.
Well, I never stated those rules.
Hold on.
I'm not the one.
Wait. Let Nick finish, and then you'll have your counter argument to what he has to say.
Judge,
Okay.
he's harassing the prosecution.
Finish your statement, Nick. So Brian can talk.
Bryan. Anyway. Oh, so rudely interrupted.
I objected. No problem.
Check. Okay, so anyway. It's besides the
This
point.
is what we warned you in the beginning, guys.
Jesus. I'm trying to give you a civilized debate, and Brian's just coming at me like a
like
chimpanzee. I'm
Like Dom coming after Jacob.
Objection. What is he doing right now? He's coming at me with insults that aren't even a part of the case.
So,
What the?
like Bryan, Jacob's storyline didn't make sense. And the fact that it was just able to kind of wash over it, like every single villain that they've had so far inside the Fast and the Furious saga has always been this thing of they're bad, but they're doing this for a reason. There's a specific reason why they're doing this. And then they have this like mild, not like an explosive redemption arc or anything else inside the movie, but there's something that shows you they're good people. And, they deserve to be a member of the family. Jacob doesn't have that at no point whatsoever. And he is not an interesting character. Everybody else is an interesting character. He's not. There's nothing that's redeemable about him. He's just kind of a jerk. And he just kind of goes, yeah, I got betrayed, so I'll go love my brother now. And the entire movie is a bunch of scenes that are strapped together by the thinnest of plot lines and the thinnest of cuts. It's literally Dom's here, cut, now he's over here. The family is over here, now we cut and we go over here. It's a lot of cuts. There's no through line. There's no, we go from point A to point B to point C. So it feels like the movie wasn't allowed to walk around in their scenery or do anything like that, and they needed to be enclosed to the people that were around them. And that could be COVID protocols. Mm-hmm. That very much could be COVID protocols. And because of that, it doesn't feel as large as like Abu Dhabi or anything like that. It doesn't feel as expansive as all the other movies are. And that's a shame. Not only that, but also I hate the fact that they went fourth wall breaking. Come on. Why do we need this? It's not a Deadpool movie.
So before we jump into more points of argument, Rene, do you want to give our listeners a quick.
You were talking about me?
A quick, brief, because I wanted to say a quick and brief. Quick, brief summary of what Fast 9 is. And if you guys, know...
So it's going to be obviously spoilers.
Yes, it's going to be... I mean, there's not much to spoil about this. It's too absurd to spoil it at this point. So, all right, Rene, go for it. Go ahead, Judge.
So basically, the premise of Fast 9 is that we are left off where basically Dom is now living his life with his new child, Bryan, along with Letty, on a farm.
4 years later.
4 years later. That's right. Time has passed, obviously, and Dom has been living, I guess, in isolation. You would say, like, I don't know. He's like living far off,
on the run because they're still hiding from Cypher.
Oh, that's right, because Cypher's looking for the son.
So you go on a farm?
I guess so.
Can you let the judge speak, please?
Hawkeye did it.
Whatever.
Judge, continue, please.
And basically, they get told that they have to go back into their Black Ops mission because something has happened to Mr. Nobody or something, and brings in. And then next thing you know, Dom's brother is in the mix of it. We find out that he's been living his own life in the crime world and stuff like that. Cypher makes an appearance because Jacob, I guess, breaks her out, wanting to know her knowledge about a certain weapon that the government's been trying to hide for years. And I don't know, that's like, if you try to explain this movie, it's weird because like that's pretty much it.
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really nothing much to explain besides the fact that it's they get brought back into the espionage world.
Yeah. Because
Mr. Nobody's plane crashes down. Cypher gets released, who was the main villain in Fast 7.
Yeah.
The person that released her was Jacob, Dom's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Fast 8.
Mm-hmm.
We get a whole... Oh, Fast 8. Excuse me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We get a whole backstory between Dom and Jacob.
Yes. We're getting... So that was something that wasn't really... So what I did is that today, as I looked back at most of the trailers from the past Fast and the Furious movies...
Never showed that it was going to be flashbacks.
Yeah, they never showed there was going to be flashbacks, but they also alluded the fact that Jacob was working with Cypher as opposed to him just using Cypher.
Uh-huh.
So, which is weird because I don't know why they went that direction. It felt really off.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because what it sounded like Cypher went after Jacob to mess with Toretto.
Yes.
Yeah. In the trailer, that's what it specifically
That's what it indicates.
And that's what was kind of cool to me, too, because it was Cypher had a new plan to mess with the group. And this time she hires Dom's brother. She pulls Dom's brother in from wherever he is, and he's just there to be the monkey inside of Dom and the gang's, plans. And I felt like that would have been a better use of Jacob.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in here, Jacob is the villain.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and it felt really weird that John Cena was the main boss in here.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like...
But the thing is that was he the main boss, though?
Yes and no. That's the thing. He was and he wasn't.
Because he is the ultimate strong guy.
Yeah.
In the movie. Mm-hmm. And usually when you have that, you have this sub-ultimate battle.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that in this movie.
No, there wasn't.
We do and we don't, but I think it's because there's two... Well, yeah, don't don't shake your head.
I'm not saying
don't.
anything. You
Don't.
can finish-
Excuse me. The defendant's
don't-
talking.
Don't let his shaking his head distract
I didn't-
you.
Okay, fine. Can I get my point across,
Yeah,
Judge?
No one was stopping you.
Yes, he was stopping me with his head shakes.
Okay, but you stopped yourself because he shaked his head.
Well, because it distracted me from my point.
I'm just saying. I never said a word. I was letting you finish.
Go ahead, Bryan.
Shakes his head like, no, whatever. All right, fine. You know what? This is like, I'm actually going to try. I'm going to try as hard as I did when I tried to defend Fast 3. Okay?
Okay.
Tokyo Drift.
Like a bobble
Oh, there
over
is 9 because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there is 9. It's not 10.
Wait, why did you think it was 10?
Because I thought that they didn't count or Tokyo Drift as 3.
Yeah, they still counted that.
Yeah,
as
so
3.
it's 9. Okay, so it's 9 films, not 10. Okay, that was my bad. Point being,
Are we counting Hobbs and Shaw?
no, that's a
No.
spin-off, which isn't even technically connected to the Fast and Furious universe.
Yeah, it is. No, it is.
In quotes, it is and it isn't. They like said that it isn't. It's production wise that it's not connected.
Which one? Shaw shows up at the end of this movie. He's in it.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I
Go
honestly
ahead.
thought that was gonna be The Rock at the very end.
I thought so too. I would have been loved that.
The connection that I see where you guys were kind of basically talking about like, oh, there's this like big fight at the end, right? I think that we were confused as the audience to think that the big fight was going to be with a big boss, like the espionage villain that they were fighting. And that, I think the whole point of that fight was kind of lost in translation because of the bad storytelling. The big fight was not espionage, but it was family problems that have existed when these guys were kids in their teenage years, you know? Because, again, the story goes on where we kind of, try to figure out what the whole point of Jacob is in this entire movie. Is he bad? Is he working with Cypher? All this other stuff. And then the background is the story of how Dom basically came into the life of why he was involved in street racing and all that other stuff as a kid. We get the mention of the guy that he beat half to death with a wrench.
Yes.
That we did see.
It did seem like I thought they were going to go the route was like Jacob was the one that did it and Dom took the blame.
Dom took it.
That would be interesting.
That would have been actually really interesting.
But no, they actually made it so that Dom was the one to do it.
You know what? But I feel like the way that they set up 1, you can't do that because there's a lot of dialogue in there about
Not
him.
1. They mentioned it in 2, isn't it? Oh no, 1.
One.
They
No,
mentioned
one,
it in 1.
Mention it
Yeah.
all in one of like he has an assault charge. It was a attempted murder. It was an attempted murder
it was
charge.
attempted murder, yeah. Manslaughter.
No, it was aggravated assault.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. But then you also have that emotional moment where Dom talks to Bryan and says, the guy was just standing there and he was trying to explain to me what happened and I didn't want to hear it. And I just started hitting him.
Yeah.
He explains it to Bryan in the first one. So you can't have that storyline of him going like, oh, well, actually Jacob did it and everything else. And
Now-
that
They wrote himself
story-
into a corner.
Yeah,
That's the
but
thing.
Dom has to do it now.
So was there always a mention that Dom had a brother?
No.
Or was this just a thing that they
we only
revealed?
knew 2 of them. But then this movie, again, with the tail end of the backstory, we understand why there wasn't a mention. Because as it goes on, and again, the Fast Saga is infamous for the twist on the twist on the twist.
He was disowned.
Yeah, he was disowned
okay.
because Jacob supposedly
Killed his dad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, not killed his dad, but he helped kill his dad.
Yes. And so finding that out in prison because of some of the 2 people that we see there.
Yeah, I loved how they keep. So what's funny is that they never, ever since Fast 5, they don't bring those characters back.
Which one?
Those 2.
They did in Fast 8.
They did.
With who?
The 2 friends that are always bickering in Spanish. And Dom's.
They don't cook well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you always kind of wondered inside of, because I think you see him in Fast 4.
You see him in Fast 8.
Yeah. Well,
they're introduced in Fast 5. You're trying to figure out how they're related to the family.
No, I think. Oh, wait,
No, they
you're
were
right,
in there.
five.
They were in. No, they were in 4 too because they were in the beginning sequence
We need a
along with
cork.
Han.
We need a cork board.
This is actually like
Yeah.
a whiteboard
Put a-
moment
yeah.
where we
Yeah,
need
to put up like Fast 5 these characters.
This and this.
not to sidetrack so much. Essentially, Dom finds out that this attempted or assistance in murder of the dad
Right.
was figured out because these 2 guys that we've met before, the ones that speak Spanish in the series, basically explained, if there's like a hairline fracture and like a gas pipe, it could lead to an explosion or something like that, and that kind of gave him the idea.
Basically, just turns into a fireball.
Exactly. And so he meets up with Jacob and, after he gets released and says, if I race you and I win, you have to drive and never stop. Basically a disown. a disownership, right?
Yes.
And what was cool was we got to see the younger versions of the cast.
I
Which
did
I
like
like
that. I like that. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, is this their way of trying to do like, oh, if we do a prequel,
That'd be dope.
This will be the cast.
Honestly, you know what I would have? I actually would have really appreciated all of this as a miniseries.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because they did that for Fast and the Furious 2.
They could do it.
But they did that for Fast and the Furious 2.
Yeah.
Because it's Brian's drive from
LA
to Florida.
Yeah.
It's how he got there. How do I get from LA to Florida?
Because essentially this movie is, I think you've said it or we said it too after we saw the movie, it's a setup.
It is a setup. It's an
very
Avenger setup.
It is.
This is basically how, Fast and Furious was. It was a
Yeah.
setup to Fast 5, essentially.
Yeah.
And then now this one, it seems like they kind of like ran out of ideas after Fast 8, and they're like, okay, well, we want to bring in all these characters back. How do we do it? Let's do Fast 9 and just bring in Han. We'll explain that away. Who wants to
dumb.
who's gonna be part of it? John Cena. All right, we'll write John Cena in. We'll do it this way, and that's how it's gonna be in the next movie.
But here's the problem though, is that I dig Han. I love Han.
Wait, are we getting into the Han part? Because we haven't even finished pretty much talking about like how the rest of the movie went.
Okay, yeah, we won't get into Han yet.
No, yeah, because Han is a separate thing.
Han is an
Judge,
argument,
maintain
yeah.
the order, please.
No,
Maintain
okay.
the order.
Okay, hold on. From there, their major plan is to take over basically all technology in the world.
Using
With-
Project Ares.
With
Ares.
Ares.
Yes.
Not Ares.
Ares,
Ares.
God of War.
Ares.
Yeah. Ares.
God of War,
Ares.
buddy. So anyway, which also, why would you invent this?
That's another thing.
Who
too.
invented this?
There's some stuff that that happens in movies like this where it's like, why would you build that?
Whose
Who
idea
built
was
it?
it
Yeah,
to build
that's the
this?
question that I have is like, who built this and who okayed it?
Yeah.
And even though we get who made it,
We did. We got who built it.
yeah,
And
but
then
like,
it's
why?
oh.
Like why
Well,
and for who is it for?
Yeah.
I would imagine it's for the Japanese government.
But then why?
But it still affects the whole planet.
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's for the Japanese because Han says that the creators of it were in Japan. They were in
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So point
So
being,
I
like,
imagine it was for the Japanese government.
Yeah.
But also they're never mentioned because we can't mention that the Japanese government might have done something
You
evil
can't
like
do
this.
that. Yeah.
Or else we'd lose like any
Any sort of
Partnership and stuff like that.
Yeah.
in Japan. So or China. So we'll just kind of imply that they made it for
point being, I think the big fight was amongst family because we get that whole like, revival of like, okay, Jacob is trying to have his moment, his like turnaround moment. He's not going to be evil anymore.
Yeah.
And that kind of ended up being the end fight because the villain wasn't technically a villain, even though Jacob technically was just a hand. It was a rich, spoiled brat that ended up running everything.
The thing is that they did that already with a character with Shaw, with Jason Statham's Shaw, where he was like the villain, but then he had a redemption, like not a redemption, but like he became part of the team.
That's what you mean.
Yes, okay, sure, but not.
But in this
really.
one, they didn't do it well.
See-
They just basically did it in one film.
Here's the thing though. For John Cena's character, I feel like those moments where they were finally that was the thing though, is I felt like every single scene with John Cena and Vin Diesel were always
I wanted to say
I
Vince
was about
Vaughn.
to say Vince Vaughn. I don't know why.
Yo, it's
I
those
would
are
have
fast
been
cars around
so
here.
funny.
Are we done talking about the story? By the way.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think so too because the story is basically a fragment. It's barely there.
Sure.
Hold on.
I didn't say anything. What do you mean? Hold on. What am I holding on to?
No. Hold on. So before we move on, I want to ask you a question.
Oh God.
Do you believe that there is an actual story to this movie?
Beginning, middle, and end.
Solid beginning, middle, end.
No,
Okay.
but
Okay.
there hasn't been one in
Yes,
a while.
there has.
No.
I would
What are you
say,
talking about?
I would argue that whole thing ended maybe in Furious 7. Like there was a beginning, middle, and at least with
What are you
Furious
talking about?
7. But I don't feel like it was in Furious 8.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Yes, there was.
No.
Yeah, it was.
Hold on. Okay, so
Beginning of the movie.
okay.
Everybody
You're gonna let the
is.
prosecution talk first. I see. All right.
Hold on. Because I'm trying to.
What am I
explain this.
holding on to, Nick?
Because you keep on saying, you keep on trying. to
Calm
talk to
down
me.
first, Brian.
Yeah, Brian, Relax. I'm just trying to prove a point.
We're all friends here.
Yeah.
We are friends.
You need to calm down before I put you outside.
I'm gonna be calm. Go ahead and get your point. Go ahead. Tell the people why you're wrong.
Thank you. So the reason why I'm right is that Fast 8 does have a beginning, though. Beginning of Fast 8 is after 7. They've already captured Shaw.
Okay.
They've now moved on, and they're all trying to live their peaceful lives.
Mm-hmm.
Dom is in Cuba. Bryan and everybody else are living their lives. You know, everybody has their money. They're fine, and everything like that. And that's the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie is tranquility. Then it leads to Cypher showing up and throwing a monkey wrench into what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the call to action. And the call to action is Dom. I think Dom doing what was it? He committed some form of crime where people were. I think he broke into the DHO
Yeah.
he broke into Hobbs's like.
Well, then no, because Hobbs gets arrested. When does Hobbs get arrested?
Hobbs does get arrested inside of 8.
Can we put a time limit on the prosecution? Otherwise, it's going to take 10 minutes.
It's not my fault that it's confusing as well, okay? You leave me alone. There's like 9
You're trying to make a point out of a story that doesn't exist.
Hold on. But yes, it does.
What am I holding on to, Nick?
Why does that?
Why does that bother you
Because
so
I'm
much?
like, hold on. I'm like, what am I holding on to?
Wait. Just wait before you freak out. My God.
I'm just trying to get a point across.
You have a camera on you now.
Yes, and I'm perfectly fine with people seeing the way I'm acting.
How
Because you're taking
ridiculously?
10 freaking minutes to discuss a story that doesn't exist.
But the story does exist.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
You
it
wanna
is.
hear my freaking point?
There's a beginning, middle, and end to that movie. There's a call to action. They figure out what's going
All right,
on.
Dan
they find
Harmon.
Out, they find
thank
out
you for
while
telling
it's
me that
doing
there's a story.
Then, which one?
God dang.
Then, I feel like you're getting angry.
I am getting angry.
For no reason. And you need to, like, just relax.
No more caffeine for you.
I haven't even finished this can.
Take the can away from you, because Sonic is making you run fast. And you gotta calm down.
Right.
Look, man, they keep saying quarter mile. You're taking like a 2-mile drive.
All right, relax,
All right,
Knuckles.
going like 10 miles an hour.
Relax, Knuckles. You need to calm
Your
down.
family
right?
driving.
Yeah.
Your granny shifting.
but there is a story there.
No!
There is-
Okay,
Okay.
Why is there not a story?
Okay. Go ahead.
Prove to me that there's not a story.
because the story doesn't exist when they haven't officially wrapped up the ending that they want to get to. This movie showcased that. There is one scene, there's one line that Letty says that completely threw me. Like, it threw me off because I'm like, yeah, that's the ending that we should have gotten. The ending we should have gotten was the ending that Fast 7 gave us. Was it Fast 7? No.
Which one?
I mean, the
It
one
was
where
Fast
Brian,
6.
Where Brian's gone, right?
No, not where Brian's gone. Fast 6. When they go back to their original house.
Okay.
That is the ending
That is the ending
yes.
that should have wrapped up the entire series. Because Fast and Furious was the series about street racing.
Yes.
It was originally that. That is what got people to watch the first one, why it got the sequel, and then it kind of slowly started to fade out because it lost interest. In order for it to keep going and be successful, of course, it needed a rebrand, which is why we got those action movies in 5, 6, and 7. Right? So, I don't consider the story to be done until we get them back to that house. Letty's line in this one was when she saves Dom from drowning, she asks him, "Do you miss it?" Wow, that music out there is pretty loud.
Really loud, yeah.
I'm going to close the door.
Close the door and just turn the little lock thing on top of it so it stays closed. There you go. You're good. It's still loud. They're
Still
bumping
here.
it over there across the street.
Jeez, man. Uptown's
It's
having
Friday-
a party
it's a
today.
Friday
Yeah, it's
night,
Friday.
Right?
Friday night.
All right, so we're just going to have to talk over it. Whatever, it's fine.
Fine.
Friday
Brian's
night.
been loud enough, so it's good.
So the line that Letty tells
Screaming at me, just screaming at me for no reason.
So the line that Letty tells Dom is, "Do you miss it? Miss what? The old days." That's what it's trying to get back to.
The Ja Rule days.
Yes, the days of the days of street racing, the
But
days of just simplicity,
but
not
I-
this whole espionage spy stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not done talking, Nick.
That's true.
That's objection.
No, that's not an objection. You don't get to object.
That was an opening statement. Now you're just making a statement. I can
Okay,
object
what's
to
your
this.
objection?
Okay.
The objection is that that is the end of the series, not the end of a movie.
Objection to your objection. There is no ending to the stories on any of the movies.
But there is.
No, because even Fast 7 ended in kind of like, it ended the way it did because of an unfortunate event. Because of Paul Walker's death. It didn't want to end that way, but they wrapped it up that way because of his death. None of these stories make sense. That's why my opening statement. You look at crap and say it's crap, obviously. Duh. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to prove? There's no point. You should be going into these Fast movies to see how absurd they are. I'm not saying that this is one of the best movies out there. And here's the thing. I'm going to say it out loud right now. If you are defending this movie and saying that it's actually good,
Like Casablanca good?
yeah, like you need to relax. Like you need to chill for 1 second and think about exactly what makes a good film.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you, Nick. I'm not disagreeing. I'm agreeing with you in the sense that the structure does not exist in this movie.
The first 25 minutes of this podcast refers to different, but yeah, okay.
No, because okay, but I'm trying to get my point across. Okay, now I'm building my actual argument here. Okay. You came at me attacking me. I'm just trying to defend myself. All right.
I'm just saying.
If this,
I'm just saying. In this instant, I'm Poland and you were Germany. At this point.
why?
I came in being like, "Oh, we could all be friends," and then you just
hostile.
and then you just went like, "No, you're mine." And I went like,
Speak
"Oh,
with spoken to.
like."
That is like the best way you could have described that argument. Because it's kind of true. And I think
Let me tell you why you're wrong.
Nine.
All right. So, have you even written anything down on your napkin?
He has. He's got some little stuff.
Oh God.
I have notes.
All right. Well, point being is that the story here is never structured. Even though you want to say, like, again, if you want to say, well, that has some story, yes. Some of the movies do have some sort of structured story that goes with it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going into the Fast movies to care about the story. It's absurd. These movies literally revolve around family. That's all it is. Here's the thing that blows my mind. If your argument last night was, well, Fast 8 had a good story and at least it was structured and connected, it pulled me away at so many points that I was like, okay, how stupid could this be? Literally, the only reason why they find Cypher's plane is because his cheap necklace, which they said was a cheap necklace in Fast 5, had a tracking device. Why the hell would Dom have a tracking device all of a freaking sudden on the cross?
Because he altered his cross
For what purpose?
to put a tracker in it,
Why?
so that way his friends could find him.
At what point?
His family. No, his
His
family.
family, I'm
His
sorry.
family.
At
In
what
the
point?
very beginning of the movie,
Why?
because he knew that he needed to big brain it.
That was never implied.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
You need to
Because
rewatch
every
Fast
decision.
8.
Oh, buddy, listen to me. The entire time in Fast 8, he literally was like, was that really necessary? Did you really need to do that? Every decision he made was basically a gut instinct. It wasn't even like something thought out of.
And it was his gut instinct
Here's
to put
the-
a tracker in the cross.
Yeah, he put a
No,
tracker in
but
the
it doesn't. But it doesn't. You're trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense.
Why does it not make sense then?
Because they're okay. Another thing in Fast 8. Okay, when they blow into Mr. Nobody's base and the agency's base,
Okay.
right? And he sees Letty on the floor. What does Cypher freaking do with Dom?
She kisses him.
Yes. If that was even remotely a part of his plan, okay, why is it that in the next scene he questions her and says, was that really necessary? Does it freaking matter? If your issue is that you're trying to save your son and the woman that you basically like were with because you assume that your wife passed away.
What Vin Diesel is saying in that moment is, we had already won. We had already gotten what we needed. You didn't need to taunt them. That wasn't necessary.
Didn't need to throw salt in the
We didn't
wound.
need to throw salt in the wound.
Yeah.
We had already
Nothing
won.
was planned.
Everything was planned.
Nothing. Oh my God, you're leading on assumptions.
No,
dude.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Because in the entire movie, it's Dom figuring out his way of trying to double cross Cypher by doing low tech ways, like putting a track, like soldering a tracker inside of his necklace and putting it in next to his son's cage.
That is the stupidest thing.
He literally puts it on the cage so that way they can always find the ship. Secondly, he then also figures out how to put a dead switch inside of his car so that way he can make a deal with the Shaws to go save his son.
Yes.
Because he knew that they were the only ones that could help him out.
Yes.
Okay. He also did plenty of things so that way he couldn't hurt the family.
Everything was just too perfect that it just doesn't feel believable. Again, you're saying that the story structure was at least existent there. It doesn't. Why does it work in Fast 9 the way it does? Again, you might not like this, but you even said this yourself yesterday. This movie felt like it was a studio directed movie, not a Justin Lin directed movie.
It's true.
Right? So, the way I see it, and again, Justin Lin, if he ever hears this, I think he's smarter than what most people think he is. The guy directed Star Trek Beyond, which was the best of the three. Right? He knows how to make a good action movie.
It's debatable, but yeah.
Shut up. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the
That's
fast
not on the
movie.
subject.
Not on the subject. Don't make me mad again.
You brought up Star Trek Beyond. I'm just saying.
Okay,
We are
Judge,
hitting
can you get this man in order, please?
Timestamp right now. We are hitting 57 minutes.
Oh, yeah, but take away 10 because of the
that's-
whole spill.
oh, yeah.
So we're like at 47.
Okay.
We're fine.
Was
Okay?
it 10 minutes?
That's something. Yeah, it was like a
Was
10-minute
it? I thought
spill.
it was like 5.
No, it was a while.
It took us a little bit
Okay.
Yeah.
to fix the spell.
Justin Lin's smarter. He's a smart director. He's a smart man. The way I see it is that the fourth wall break was there to remind us that this movie is absurd. You might not like it, but it's there. And I think it's to save his ass for when he needs to direct Fast 10 if he sticks with it. Okay? The fourth wall break that we talk about is that line. They mention it several times, but the major one is when Roman is talking to Tej and Ramses. And he says, like,
He's
look at
discussing plot armor.
Yes, he's basically saying, like, you know, you've been on so many missions, and he mentions all the missions that they've done. And he says, and never once do I have something to show for it. I don't have a scar, I don't have a cut, I have nothing. And they joke about it and basically say, like, I'm invincible kind of thing. It's like he's a superhero, right? That's the fourth wall break. And it's a reminder of the fact that this is an absurd movie. There is no way in heck that the amount of things that happen to them make them capable of surviving what's going on. And if you're saying, but it only happened in Fast 9, what about Fast 8? Because the same thing happens to Roman in Fast 8.
No.
The snowmobile sequence.
Which snowmobile sequence?
Are you freaking kidding
When they're
me?
at the end and they're on the ice.
Yes.
And then, was it Roman's on the Lamborghini or driving the Lamborghini on the ice, right? And then you said it was.
So basically, the Lambo goes into the water.
But he has the car, the car door.
I think it's Tej or it might be Dwayne's character. Hobb pulls him out by telling him to hold on to the door.
Yes.
So he's like literally skiing on ice on a Lambo door.
Yes.
He gets detached, spins out as 5 snowmobiles are headed his way. What does he do with the Lambo door? He Captain America's that Lambo door, hits one of them. Let me tell you something, okay? This is how absurd, and this is why I'm telling you. This.
See now. Nick's laughing because he's realizing that what you're.
This is how absurd.
No, because I hadn't seen 8 in a while, and
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of forgot.
Gentlemen, I present to you the closing statement now.
No. Okay,
No,
still gotta
because
talk about
have you
character.
ever picked
First
up
off,
a car door?
You were right about a scene in a movie.
No, I'm still right.
That doesn't mean
Okay,
you were right about
Nick,
your argument.
answer the question, okay? As the prosecution.
First of all, finish.
Judge,
finish
with all
this
due
scene.
respect.
you?
I'm getting there.
Can you finish your point?
Yes.
So
Have you
it's
ever
be-
picked up a car door?
Yes.
Those things are heavy. So how the heck is he picking up a car door and still managing to crouch down to block literally gunfire?
Have you seen Tyrese? He's built. He's strong.
You can't do that realistically. Then he manages to get up
got a
and
beautiful voice.
swing the car door at one of the people, picks up the gun. Tell me, how is it possible that trained military personnel cannot shoot one person?
Stormtroopers.
I got trained by stormtroopers. Easily.
And he manages to shoot every person on the snowmobile with a handgun and not miss a single shot.
He did the same thing with an AK in this movie.
So why do you have a problem here but not over there?
AKs pointed at him. Too.
Hold on. If you go with, let's just say, if you go with the weirdness or like or like these weird mistakes or anything like that, or these like over the top moments, this movie heavily leans into those odd moments. Because inside of in 8, yes, I will give you, there are those extraordinary, those hyper realistic. What was it? This like we live in this like hyper realistic world. And you're right. There are some scenes where in 8 it doesn't really work. But the problem is that when you have 90% of the movie, like in 9, be like that, you can have scenes that's fine in, but you can't have an entire movie where we're just like, screw it all, and it's going to be hyper, and we're just going to have these things of they can survive anything, and it does not matter.
That's true, because in Fast 9, we were talking about it, where on the way home last night, where it's like, remember we talked about how Dom and Jacob are fighting, and then Jacob picks up Dom, and his head literally hits the top of the door wall, and Dom's like, "Oh man, that was yeah, I'm gonna walk it off." And then there was also that henchman. They were on the top of a car. A metal sign goes through, and he's just standing there like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, they did that in Fast 7.
No. But
they did that in Fast 7.
But at a certain point, here's the thing though. You have like 1 or 2 of them, maybe even 3. It's okay because they're spread. Hold on. At a certain point, this turned.
That's Brian's trigger.
This turned at a certain point. Fast 9 turned into a Looney Tunes cartoon.
That's fine.
That's not okay
for you.
No, it's not okay in general, because the thing is that you're taking away everything that made Fast and the Furious, because there has to be
that was already gone by 3.
No, it's not.
Or after 3.
It's not though.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes.
You still have the whole idea of the family. You still have the entire idea of what's going on. Like I said, it's a hyper realistic. It's not it's not the Looney Tunes. It's not like, oh yeah, I can drive through the sun and come out the other way with scorch marks. That's not how these things work. Yeah. The entire thing of Fast and the Furious is that there was some piece of danger that was going into it. There was a reason why they were afraid of going into these situations, because there was a moment of death. There is a moment of danger. In this movie, it feels like they just went, forget it. There is no danger. These people are invincible. And they literally just told you that, saying, don't worry about any of these characters. They'll all survive by the end of it. They even pulled a middle finger to you by blowing up Roman's car, flipping it on top of him. He then gets up.
He's like walking
around, and then Tej says, "How are you alive?"
That was
and he
perfect.
goes,
I love that.
And then gets in the car.
That was perfect.
So stupid.
Yeah.
He might as well have picked up the car and have been flat. And then and blew himself
Space Jam
up,
status.
Space Jam status, and then walked it off. Because then at least that point I would have been like, well, that's the movie we're in.
Yes.
That's the movie we're in.
But that's
the fact that
these
you
are
keep
personal problems you have,
No,
Nick.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
That is a real problem, because that means that that is a reason why it is.
Tell me where the next direction from the absurdity of Fast 8.
It's going to space.
It already went to space.
No, it's gonna go to space.
We're gonna go to Mars.
It's going to take place in space. There's gonna be a reason for them to be in space.
Mars.
I don't know why.
Fast 10 is Mars.
Drifting on the moon.
I don't know.
Heck
Drift on the moon. I don't know. Maybe actually use the Tokyo Drift characters. I don't know.
Oh, let's talk about those Tokyo.
But here's.
Oh, God.
Rene's just like, I don't know. Do you want to do closing statements now? I mean, at this point, it's like we're just going to go.
We still got about like a good
we got a half hour.
We got a half hour to
Loki.
45 minutes.
And you guys didn't like Loki anyway, so it's fine.
I'm just gonna say, like, there's not much to talk about. Loki.
This is a 15-minute conversation for Loki, so we can probably
close out.
We can combine them for tomorrow, for next week.
No, we can do it. I want to talk about it because
what you really
the savior of predictions over here is probably going to be right somewhere, so we need to give him the spotlight.
I was right in some places.
Yeah, but you're wrong here. It's okay. Like you understand that
it's okay,
victory,
Mephisto boy.
You only talk about your victories when they matter, but you're too scared to talk about this one.
The last two things,
because it's not a victory.
Okay, so we can agree that. So at least with the first argument that we had, you guys can both agree There is no story in this film.
There isn't
is
a
no-
story.
There isn't
no
a story. Okay.
Okay, but
Not a
Renee-
proper one, per se.
Hold on,
Okay.
but Renee, if we were like, let's say that we're
Can you call him Judge Rene, please? Have some respect.
Your Honor. Your Honor. Who would you say, seeing as we have technically 3 points, who would get this point?
Why are you... I'm not done. You're closing out this argument already?
For
the
no
story? Yes.
The story argument.
Seeing as, we're running out of time.
We both agreed that there is no
Yeah.
proper story.
Okay, but hold on. But my argument was that there was a proper story inside of the other ones. Your argument is that there is no proper story in any of them.
That makes sense.
Okay,
Yes.
who proved it a point?
Oh God.
Can I just
Okay.
add on to
All
the
right,
fact?
If you want to
Your Honor.
go ahead.
Your Honor, can I add one more
Excuse
point to
me?
my argument? Shut up. I'm trying to say something here.
I'll let it slide. Go ahead.
Okay,
Your
so
Highness.
you said this yourself yesterday.
Yeah.
How much further can this franchise go?
Yeah.
Right? It felt like Fast 9 was it. Like Fast 8 was as absurd as it was going to go.
Because for me, I said it like I'm basically waiting until they go into space.
So essentially what they did, what I believe they did to make this story happen, not work, happen for Fast 9, it's like they drew a thermostat on the wall, right? And then Fast 8 was like 100%. What Justin Lin did is he grabbed a piece of cardboard and then taped it on the back. By doing that, he's breaking the fourth wall and saying, this is going to be an absurd franchise. We're going to keep making weird stuff happen. You guys just have to buckle in and enjoy the ride.
Okay.
So he added the 110, 115 percentile marker to allow that to happen in Fast 10. Because how much more crazy can Fast 10 be?
But that's not the argument right now, sir. If we want to stay on topic, Your Honor, if you will allow me,
Yes.
the topic that we're talking about right now is whether or not there is a story in either one. Is there a story inside this movie? You've already said no.
Yes.
My point is that there was story beforehand, and you can easily see that in the growth of the characters, and you can also see that in the growth of where they've been and where they've come
Ones
from.
that make sense.
Hold on.
All right, Your Honor, what's your decision?
But what I'm saying is that there is a story that has to go with there. There is growth in these characters. These characters haven't been the same thing since 1. They are different people. From then, that is growth, that is building a story, and that is building a world. They've done that.
Speaking of character development,
Yeah.
there was a video that Andy showed me today. It's one of the YouTubers she follows. I forget his name, but he's annoying. I forget his name.
PewDiePie?
No. He reviewed Fast 9, and he said something that was kind of like,
Jeremy Johns.
Chris
was-
Tuckman.
Jeremy Johns?
I think that's him.
The guy who has like dark hair, right? He
has
has like
dark
a
hair
red,
with a
red
red background?
Yes, that's
okay,
him.
That's Jeremy Johns.
Okay, so he said
I watched Chris Tuckman's review, but go ahead.
He
Stuckman's
said-
kind of snooty sometimes.
Yeah.
that this movie's plot progression was all based on assumption. That all the characters acted upon something because they assumed that they were correct.
Right.
And he had a big problem with Vin Diesel's character, Dom, that he assumed that he was in the right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said he didn't like that. And I said, well, we have to look at how his character has been throughout the entire franchise. Dom as a character has always been that person that's like, he's got his buddy and his buddy wants to do something. That's not the correct action. Dom steps in and says, you need to chill out. Then Dom steps in again and does the same action because he thinks he's right. Dom has always had that character development where he thinks that every action that he does is the correct one because he feels like he needs to do it. Right? This plot progression or this character development for Dom is the first time we see one of his assumptions come back to him in a bad way. He assumed his brother was doing something bad and didn't give him the benefit of the doubt or even listen to him to try to, because if Dom would have just listened to his brother and understood that the reason it had to, make dad lose was because dad had to keep making or fixing your stupid mistakes, Fast 9 would have never been a thing.
What But that's another reason why Fast 9's terrible. Because the fact that Vin Diesel does learn that. He does pick up the idea of, if I listen to their point of view, maybe I'll understand where they were coming from.
In what movie?
5, 6, when he's talking to Bryan.
No.
When he's talking to Bryan and he's trying
He never truly learns it.
He does, because that's the entire reason why he forgives Bryan.
He keeps making those same... Even in Fast 8, he begins the thing. He literally does the same thing he does in every movie. Well, I think it's like his cousin or something like that. I can't like... Huh?
In which movie?
In Fast 8, the beginning. The race in Cuba.
Okay.
Yeah, literally, the reason they race is because he chooses to race in place of his cousin or whatever, his nephew.
It's his cousin.
His cousin.
His Cuban cousin. But that's
he chooses
different.
to race. He says, "Don't make promises that you can't keep," or whatever that. Don't make deals that you can't keep.
He said.
And then
he says that a Toretto always sticks to his word.
Exactly.
And if you said that you were going to do this, then that means that you're going to do this. I'm going to race for you, and if I win, then then we can get you out.
Always
of this.
steps in to make the actions or do the actions
But he's
that
always
someone
there,
else wants to do.
But he's always there to try and fix things. That's his.
And this is the first time
that's his character development. Is that Dom used to just do things to do things.
Yes.
He used to just say, what is the easiest path? That's why he used to boost radios. That's why he used to do all these street racing. That was his main thing.
And Fast 9 has that consequence finally catch up to him.
But
that's why that works.
But here's the thing, though, is that later on, it does have that moment where Toretto gets past his own ego. And he does communicate with Bryan. He does communicate with...
Are you talking about 7 or 8?
Talking about 5.
Okay.
In 5...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he did, and was in Fast and Furious... Dom was not... He didn't forgive Bryan at the time. Yeah.
He didn't forgive Bryan at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 5... when they're on the run and they're in Brazil and they're all arguing and everything like that, that they're still arguing. And the only reason that Dom actually kind of forgives Bryan is because, for one, they finally talk and they finally have like this understanding of like, this is why you did this, this is why I did this. And not only that, but then he then welcomed him into the family because Bryan and Mia were having a child.
But these are interconnected problems with different characters. I'm talking about Dom's personality as a character or within his own character development.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that Dom was always very close knit. He only did things with people that he knew.
Yes.
He never would have trusted in 100 years. Half of the group that's there right now inside of that Fast family is Bryan's crew. Because that's Tej and that's also Roman.
Yeah.
That's Bryan's crew. If at some point Dom did not change and understand where Bryan was coming from and truly forgive him, they would never be considered family. They would have never even been trusted.
But I'm not talking about the trust. What I'm saying is that he's always made rash decisions. He's always been quick to assume certain things. This isn't anything new. We've known that Dom's character has always assumed, and he never really suffers any consequences from it. He always comes out kind of clean. In this one, we get that development where his assumption, his quick decision to assume that something was a certain way led him to one of his, a family member essentially turning on him. That's what I'm saying. That's why that argument of like, oh, well, this movie was just based off assumptions. At what point, again, I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not saying that it's a good way to develop a story, but I'm saying it's like, if you guys didn't see this, what else am I supposed to tell you? What else are they supposed to tell you? These movies are not meant to sell you on the fact that they're great movies. They're supposed to be popcorn movies. You sit down and enjoy them. I told you this, Rene. If you want a good action movie, you watch Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Because those are well-developed action movies with fantastic practical effects. Because Tom Cruise is a freaking idiot. Not an idiot, excuse me. He's a genius. He's an idiot when it comes to his own life, risking it.
Yeah.
But he's a genius in trying to make the film super believable, right? I'm not watching the Fast series to essentially say like, yes, this is going to be so great. This is going to be so awesome. The practical effects are going to be so fantastic. No, I'm there to see how far it could go. Because, again, if we're going to mention the stunts in Fast 5, the safe scene was just crazy. It was great.
It was cool.
It was cool. And it's even more fantastic when you realize that it was most of it was done practical. Right? Fast 6, what was the big scene in that one? In Fast 6,
It was the ending, honestly, because they were trying to take down the plane.
It was the plane.
Yeah.
It was the plane scene. It was rushing the plane.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Rushing
right.
the-
That was
rushing the
that big
plane
moment,
Was,
yeah.
was their big moment.
Which is okay. I don't think it was like that big of a. It wasn't.
It's not.
It really wasn't. It wasn't supposed to be like a big thing, because I think like when coming out of Fast 5, they're like, okay, what else can we do? What can we have the cars do?
We gotta tone it. Yeah.
Let's have them take down a plane.
Because
Yeah.
I think 7 is L.A.
Yeah, and that's you have like
7
multiple
is
plots.
That was the skyscraper
Yeah.
scene, and
That was basically
No.
Dom,
No.
the big
I'm
scene
talking
around-
about the parking lot in Dom.
yeah,
Dom
that
and-
was the fight.
and
But
Shaw.
The fight
it's
with
two.
Shaw.
They had two big ones. They
Yeah,
had the
'cause there was
parking
two-
lot
there's two
and then
storylines
the,
going on at the
yeah,
same time.
and the skyscraper. And then in 8, the big one was the ice driving
the
scene.
submarine. Yeah.
Submarine.
And all the practical shots, and this is what bugs me so much
Yeah.
about that, it wasn't believable because you can differentiate the practical shots from the effect shots, the ones that were super exaggerated.
Also, 6 had the tank.
That's right. Yeah,
That
the
too.
tank
6 had
scene.
the, 6 had
Yeah.
the tank.
The tank on the freeway.
Yes.
Well,
That's
that's
right.
6 or 7.
Yeah. Okay.
6 or 7.
Okay.
6. That was 6.
Was it
Because 7
6?
was the Shaw's older brother.
Because it was Shaw's little brother that had the tank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's right, because that's when he saves Letty when she falls off the tank.
yes.
Right. Yeah.
So again, is
Jumps through 2 bridges.
It's just like
jumps another bridge to get to another bridge.
he literally times it so he's
Yeah.
able to fly out. But it's just how absurd these movies can get.
Yeah.
I get it. If you don't like the film because it just didn't make any sense, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that to hate it and say it's crap, it's too easy. Just let it be because we already know it's crap.
But here's the thing, though, is that I'm okay with it being, like I said, I'm okay with it being hyper realistic. This world of like, this makes sense. I can catch people with a car and they'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that idea. I'm okay that, somebody fell 10 stories through a parking garage with concrete and he walked out with like a scratch. I'm fine with that. But when you have when you have multiple scenes of just things not making sense, like the bridge scene, where just the bridge totally gives out.
I see what I see what you're coming from, and I see what you're coming from, Brian. Is that like Brian's argument is that basically like it's a Fast and the Furious movie. They've always been like that. They've always been super just out of nowhere and stuff like that. I think Nick's argument is that that's happened before, but in Fast 9, it was every single scene. While in past movies,
it
was like here and there, here and there.
It was more coherent.
Yes.
It was
because
mo-
one of your arguments,
Yeah.
Nick, was that there were too many jumps.
Exactly.
I think that was, you mentioned it right now, actually, that
Yes.
you were saying it's like he was here, then there, then there, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with you because the scene that pulled me out of it was when Cardi B showed up. I don't give 2 craps about her.
I honestly
don't
was
agree-
very confused, and I think you heard me go, I think I said F this movie.
Yeah.
At that moment, because the minute that they were in the car and then Cardi B was there, and then I just went, F this movie. And then
She completely ruined, like,
but
that took me so,
hold on,
that
hold
took
on.
me
Yeah.
out of it.
Don't
I'm
get
gonna
me
say-
wrong. Don't get me wrong. It is not that I have a problem with Cardi
Oh, I
B.
do. I do.
Hold on.
No, I'm not afraid of it.
Hold
I
on.
do.
It's not, but I'm not afraid of it either.
Yeah.
But that's not the reason why
It's
I was
not.
upset.
It's not Cardi B herself.
It wasn't Cardi B itself. It was the fact that they introduced a character, didn't give any explanation to who she was, anything like that. Didn't even show her in the beginning of the movie.
Because she wasn't a character. She literally came in as Cardi B. Like, here's the thing, okay?
But
she didn't even try to be a character. She literally took off the mask and started speaking like that kid from the Wild Thornberries.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all it was. I'm sorry. Like, if,
No,
you,
and
if
I
people
get-
like her, fine. Again, sorry. I'm just going to go off on a little rant
No,
here.
no. We don't have the time.
We
don't have the time, damn it.
Because she was useless.
Okay, that's fine. She can be useless. But what I'm saying is that in every single Fast and the Furious movie, there's always this thing of, yes, we do have random people, random cameos that happen and everything like that, but they are well introduced, or they show them
explained.
They're explained in the beginning, or like the guy in Cuba who who Dom races, who later on ends up helping him because he now has a newfound respect for
Yeah.
Dom.
Exactly.
They always
And it's-
pull some minor small role character into another movie.
Yes, and then they bring them in.
Yeah.
Where why couldn't we have done that with Cardi B's character? Why couldn't we have just used a character and brought? Why couldn't it be Kimiko?
Because they probably contract.
Kimiko. Oh.
Why couldn't it have been Kimiko from Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yeah.
Why couldn't it have been her
Yeah.
instead of Cardi B?
That would have been cool.
But-
and then Cardi B
yeah.
could have still been there, and she could have said, "Well, this is my new crew."
Yeah.
And
Or
everything
even,
else. And just say, "Oh yeah, like my time with Bryan and you really changed the way I look at the world."
But this is because they threw away so many characters. And again, we talked about this. The Fast and Tokyo Drift characters, they literally went
Didn't do anything
from
with them.
they didn't do anything, and
No.
that's a shame. They literally that's the middle finger. That is my version of the middle finger that Justin Lin threw at us, because he essentially said these guys in Tokyo Drift were badasses. They knew how to drift. They took down the Drift King. This guy spent like weeks learning how to throw the perfect drift into a corner inside of a small parking structure, and then they raced on the canyons. It was like sick.
well, not only
All
that,
of a
but
sudden
also
to then
he
just
was-
say they were rocket scientists at
also
the end of this
he
one.
learned how to drift in a Charger,
Yeah.
like
In
instead
a-
of
in a Mustang.
In a Mustang,
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh,
what was
it was a different engine. It was
it was
a Toyota engine.
Yeah,
I think it
Toyota.
was.
a
Yeah.
Toyota engine inside of a
Yeah.
Mustang.
And they were
But
fixing
that's
it.
that's besides the point though. What I'm saying is that these characters, they're
Or was it Nissan? It might have been Nissan.
oh my god.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
So here's the problem that I have with this movie as well, is the fact that there is no lull. There is no slow moment in the movie where characters can just talk. Characters can then develop. Characters can have a moment. There is no moment in this movie.
And you know
It's
what's-
jump cut to jump cut to jump cut.
You know what's funny? I noticed that left after Paul Walker died, because in Furious 7 and in Furious 6 and Fast 5, you have those moments when they're planning out their next plan to do the main mission.
And they talk.
They have those moments, and it's mostly with Paul Walker's character too, half the time.
Because he was the he was the brain.
But the thing
He
is
became
that
the brain.
But the thing is that they did have them later on,
Mm-hmm.
but they had them in either comedic moments or they had it in different stuff like that. But but a lot of it also was The Rock, because
Yeah.
then those smaller, slower moments turned into The Rock's job. And I feel like they didn't have anybody that could really carry those emotional scenes. Those scenes of like, we're trying to talk about something heavy. We're trying to talk about family. We're trying to talk about what's going on in people's lives. We're trying to talk about something else.
Yeah.
We don't have somebody that can carry that scene. So we don't use that scene. Like the beginning of this movie. The beginning of this movie is literally Dom on a farm. Letty basically just saying, "Screw this kid that isn't mine. I'm going to go back to the life I miss."
Well, her reason for that is because we used to not hide, and now we do.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but that isn't the reason she gave. She just kind of went like, "Screw being a mom. I'm going to go do this." And then later on, she said, "Well, I miss what it was." But the thing is that not even on the plane was there like a slow moment, like this moment of what's the plan, guys? And then they going, "Okay, so this is how we have to attack. This is how we're doing everything like that." Because that's what they do in every other fast movie.
True.
They
didn't plan
literally
out
just
the final ending, or like the final like action sequence.
Because the plans happened as it was going.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then they eventually, and then like in the very beginning, they just showed up in Brazil and they were just driving through the jungle, and they all have like shotguns and machine guns.
No, that I agree with.
Yeah.
But
That,
the thing,
yeah,
'cause
that I agree with.
no, but the thing is that I feel like there's jokes that were missing, because Roman specifically says, "Stop judging me," and then Tej says, "It's okay. We all know you're compensating." There's always a scene when they're picking out the cars. There's always that scene of like them like picking out the
Yeah.
cars. You get to see like what their tastes are,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It still
And I
was
feel-
true to the it. They,
But
okay.
the thing is that you
Yeah.
don't feel that in this movie, because they just automatically cut, and it feels like there was a conversation that the audience wasn't there for.
I'm gonna
and then a joke happened, and then you were like, "Wait, is he just trying to say he has a small wiener?"
They Final Fantasied this.
the studio.
Yes, the movie. They Final Fantasied it, because you are right. Where none of the characters, and after this, Renee, lead us into the closing statements,
Okay.
please, because we don't. Yeah, you got it.
Did you hear him?
Judge Rene.
Excuse me, Your
the-
Majesty. Lead us
Your
into the
elegance. That's what I like.
Your subjects.
So they Final Fantasied us. But what I mean by that is essentially you should already know, and I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, because it isn't. It did pull me out a couple times, but I had to pick up on it. there are those moments where you get to see their taste in the cars that they choose.
Exactly.
And when I say that they Final Fantasy us, I'm saying they expect you to already know what their tastes are. Because Roman does say when they have Dom in the Charger, or in the, it's the Charger, when they have them hooked on there and they're all pulling, you know.
Yeah.
No, that was Fast 8.
Yeah.
That was Fast 8.
Fast 8.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because he does say they don't even have a moment where to pick their cars, because in that one in Fast 8
They're
he flips
choosing their cars.
No, they're not, because Roman drives a Bentley and then he says not my Bentley because he wanted to keep it, and it gets flipped and destroyed. In this one they don't until kind of towards
Nope. They never mention their
the
cars.
end. Was it?
No,
They never mention
showed
their cars.
The only
the
one they do
cars.
that with is Han then.
No,
Yeah, because Han is the only one that drives a JDM.
but it doesn't matter. They never mention.
Oh,
They
it's
never
not
showed
technically
him
the Super's
getting-
not
But
JDM.
what I'm
Is it?
saying
I don't
is
know.
that the Fast and the Furious saga is also this thing of car porn. There is this moment
That was
of
gone.
like it was completely gone from this movie.
Except for one car.
What car was
Except-
that?
The Supra.
The Supra.
Oh, okay.
It's the redesign.
But the thing is that there was no form of car porn in this inside of this movie. There is no them
Besides
spatting
Jacob's
out.
car.
But the thing is that there is no moment of like Han or Dom looking at a car and then going like, oh yeah, it goes 1,000 RPMs or
We didn't
whatever
even
it
get
is.
to see them like go back to the Tokyo Drift cast and be like, "Hey, we need to use your rocket." No, it was just
Exactly.
automatically Roman.
You're right,
Just
because
inside
they
of the
even
car.
threw that ass. I remember that
Yeah.
because they even threw. Okay, that I'll give you, because they did throw away that whole thing where they were like, "Oh, they'll help you pick out cars," and then they never even showcased them the cars. They just
Exactly.
showed the Pontiac Fiero with a giant rocket at the end.
Yeah.
That was it.
And then we're automatically to assume that they know how to fly an airplane. That's another thing too.
Because they became rocket scientists or
No,
whatever.
but what I'm saying is that it took a lot of the character of not only the characters themselves but the character of the movie out of it. They ripped it and it made it very stale. It made it this like, oh, we're just going to show you flashy lights and we're going to hope that you like it. And that's a shame because there is a lot of character inside of not only the movie itself, like the world of Fast and the Furious, but the characters themselves are pretty interesting. They are interesting and cool characters. And the fact that you strip them down to their bare bones and just kind of went, well, the audience knows who they are. So it's fine. We don't need to explain who these people are. That's a bad thing. You shouldn't just assume. You should always be kind of learning something new in a new movie.
Because you're losing audiences.
Exactly, because I learned nothing about Tej. I learned nothing about Roman in this one. I learned nothing about Ramses. I learned nothing about most of the crew. I learned a little bit about Han, but that was because Justin Lin loves Han. And obviously he was going to write something cool for Han. But that's about it.
I feel like this is your closing statement.
There
This pretty
is
good.
no...
You didn't even lead us into the closing
I know,
statement.
but
sorry.
he's doing it. But that's fine. No,
Okay.
I'm sorry, but
after
the thing,
this, then Bryan goes.
yeah, but the problem is that it ripped the character and it ripped all the fun out of this movie. And it just said you'll like it because we tell you you'll like it. Because there's flashy lights, explosions, Vin Diesel and John Cena are in it. That's why you'll like this movie. It's not because there was actually some form of fun. That was the thing, though. Every single time you have a Fast and the Furious movie, you feel like the movie was at least fun.
So you're basically saying that you felt that this movie didn't respect its audience.
It didn't respect them, and it just felt stale.
Okay.
And it didn't allow for character development. It didn't allow for anything. And that is the true shame of this movie because there's so much potential in there.
Okay. Nick's done. That was a good closing statement.
You're welcome.
Bryan.
I just don't care about the Fast Saga anymore at this
Okay.
point. I lost interest after Tokyo Drift. Honestly, like for me, these movies, if I get fun out of it, then it's
done its job.
it's done its job.
Okay.
You know, I went into this movie not having expectations. I simply said, how absurd can this movie be? How much crazier can we get? Okay? That was my entire...
I know. I was like, you're really doing that in front of the mic. He was slurping his frap, guys, if you wanted to know what that was.
No, they can see it.
I'm
Oh,
doing
that's
my
right. I
closing
keep forgetting.
statement.
I'm sorry. He slurped really
Can I
loud.
get my closing statement?
Yeah, you can.
Gosh, man, I
Okay.
swear.
Here's your
Still got to
little
talk
top
about
tip.
Loki.
I know.
Go.
I'm not going into these movies anymore expecting anything fun or getting anything coherent out of it.
Yeah.
I'm just going in there to see how absurd this is.
Okay.
And that's what I got. I got a movie that was just ridiculous. Okay? I can compare it to a bootleg Mission Impossible because that's essentially what Fast 9 was. It's just bootleg Mission Impossible. It tried to be a spy movie with characters that were never really spies. Excuse me. The characters didn't make any sense. They didn't develop them well enough to be these badass action stars. You know, we mentioned this as well, where the scene where Dom pulls the 2 chains and then like everything just falls on top of the people. That's ridiculous. But again, we see that in like Fast 7 and Fast 8. The scene where in Fast 8 where Dwayne The Rock Johnson's character basically like slides underneath like on a bridge to basically hit a fence and then fall down 2 stories to land perfectly fine. Like none of it makes sense. But it's just the absurdity that keeps me going. So if people are hating this movie, I'm not going to convince you to say that you're wrong. That's not what I'm trying to do. No, because I'm not trying to convince you that you're wrong in the sense that, you know, this movie sucked. What I'm just saying is that when you look at this, again, it goes back to my opening statement. Crap is crap. And to call it crap, okay, obviously, yes, what are you trying to prove with that? Are you trying to discourage people from going to go watch this? No. They already have 2 other movies in development. It's going to happen. What this movie should be showcasing is, again, what Justice League did. In terms of what happens when a studio takes over. This is a studio-directed film. This is not a Justin Lin film. This is a studio-directed film with Justin Lin's name on it. That's all it is. The studio thought that this is what the audiences wanted. And it didn't work. Because people are going in there saying, there were too many moments where I was pulled out of the store because I didn't believe it. You're not wrong. That is okay. All right? But what we should be doing when Fast 10 does come out is not go in with any expectations.
Yeah.
That's all it is. If you're done after this and saying, well, this is stupid, great. Leave it be. Leave it be. Because the franchise died after Tokyo Drift. It hasn't been the same. It will never be the same again. If it wants to be the same, it has to go back to its old ways. And I think that that's where it's headed. It's trying to reach a point that's super high up and super absurd, only for the 11th or 12th film to then wrap it up again with street racing. That is the dream. That is personally what I want. And I think that's where it's going to head. We just got to give it time.
So basically what you're saying is that we're so far into the series and we're going to get more, there's bound to be a hiccup in the film franchise. And this is Fast 9. It's basically, because we said it before, this is more of a setup to the next film.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah.
And again, is whatever they do with Cypher. Whatever her
and basically like
master plan is.
What you're saying is like we've gotten so many of these movies, and that second half have been so obscured. Is that what did we expect?
Exactly.
To get from Fast 9 is just more obscurity.
Exactly. It's just going to be, and again, Fast and Furious has always been, or not always been, but after 4, it's been a twist on a twist on a twist. And we saw that with Han's character. Han died in 3, then came back, or we found out that he was, that
he was part of
Shaw
Dom's
was
crew.
murdered.
Yeah, and then
right?
Shaw
or that he
murdered
was
him.
part of Dom's crew, and then Shaw murdered him. But then it wasn't Shaw that actually murdered him because he managed to escape. There's going to be a twist on twist on twist.
There's always layers they always add on.
The sad part is that they keep layering the same thing, and it's to retcon
what
a
just
retcon.
happened. Yeah,
it's a retcon
into another
that's
retcon.
all it is.
Yeah.
And so at this point,
that's also a problem though. At a certain Han dying, that was a tragic scene. It was a dope character, and it really hurt to see him go.
Yeah.
The fact that we added Jason Statham was driving the Bentley or the
it was
Mercedes.
like a Mercedes or something.
Yeah, the fact that Jason Statham was driving the Mercedes and there was a deeper meaning to it. It's not a retcon. It's kind of like throwing the gauntlet. It's like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
That Han died not because of what was going on in Tokyo Drift. He had other grudges and other people were after him. And that was an interesting retcon. That is a very interesting retcon. The fact that in this movie they just went, oh yeah, like we made it just look like Han was in there, and then they didn't really explain.
We did
what
some
they
government
It was some
mojo.
magic. Yeah, they
it was
even
like
said
government
it at the
mojo.
end. Yeah, they
We
even
did
said he's like
government
good magic
magic.
trick, and that was it.
Yeah.
But
and it's like he's not even covered in blood, even though inside the shot he's covered in blood and stuff like that. And it's like, Wait, what? So did you just literally go? So how did Han get out of the car?
So it was like a split second too.
Yeah, so how did Han get out of the car? I don't know. So are we just saying that
nobody was there,
magic
and that's it? Like nobody was standing there
that Shaw a government trained assassin blinked and then just didn't check to make sure that his target died?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I was really disappointed how they explained it because I told you that was one of the main things.
We were all interested in it.
Yeah,
It just
I was like,
became
I
a
want.
weak point.
Yeah, I want to see how they explain how Han survived.
And it was not a great explanation.
Overall,
Yeah.
I'm willing to just wait for Fast 10 and see what happens.
Okay.
I'm not here to convince you or you that.
I'm not saying I'm not going to go see it. I'm a junkie. I'll still watch it.
Well, Renee's done. He
I
says,
think
but I think
so,
you're still gonna watch.
I
Fast 10.
I have to see the trailer when FX comes out.
FX.
FX. They have to call it FX, like you said.
No, because that's a network.
Oh, damn it.
No, it's going to be I think I just want it to be Fast X.
Fast X. Oh, there you go.
Furious.
Yeah, Furious X.
Furious X.
The Furious X. That
Fast
was
Cross
great.
Furious.
I'm telling you, if they don't do a Legion of Doom with all of the villains,
They will.
That would be cool.
With
That's
all
how
of the
it ends.
villains from all of the Fast and the Furious
And they're
things.
going to space. Like the villains
Cypher-
make a moon base.
Cypher makes a moon base, and then it's basically just like Moonraker.
Yeah.
That's essentially what this is. Is it's just Moonraker?
We talked about, remember on the way home last night, we talked about there would be layers or twists on top, and we said, like, watch the next villain, the one that's going to be a part of everything, that's going to be like pulling the webs of everything
Tyrese.
is Dom's mom. And then we find out that Dom's mom is the reason why he killed the dad, because apparently like she like did something before and stuff, and then Jacob was like no, and then I was like,
You know what? This
No,
all crossed over
the-
into the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I remember them talking about it though. He said that his mom died. They did say
We
that.
presumed.
Han died too.
Yeah, that's another problem.
That's a plot
that's
twist.
That's another problem is that the Fast and the Furious doesn't respect death.
No.
That's another thing. So
Yeah,
to end
Your Honor.
this whole
Your Majesty.
this whole
Shut
hour and 20 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm literally shaving off 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Your Majesty.
I will have to agree. He's throwing looks at me. So,
just
I will
like-
say this: you guys did both have very good arguments.
Oh my
I
God,
loved
he's
them.
stalling.
I loved them so much. No, I'm just basically I want to show that I'm not favorizing anyone, but I
Shut
did
up.
think
No,
about
sorry.
it.
Yeah.
I did think about it. One really convinced me, and then the other one was like, "Oh no, that's actually pretty good." But I will say,
All right, just say I lost.
Nick is the one
Yeah.
that I agree with.
Yeah, boy.
No, but Bryan, you had some good points though.
You
You
had
had,
some
me at some points too. That's the thing. I was
I-
agreeing with
That's
Bryan
fine.
towards the
You
argument
weren't
in
impressed
the
with the
middle.
length of crap Justin Lin took on the franchise. It's
I
fine.
I feel
He aimed for
what I-
13 inches without a cut, and
What
the next one's 15.
what I felt saved me was my closing.
That was your closing was good.
My
If
closing
he
is
didn't close, would I have had it?
Yeah, if he didn't have a good closing statement, you would have had it. It was the whole respecting your audience thing, and that one really got to me. I was like, oh, that's true.
I mean, the
was
studios never respect their audiences.
like, yeah, that's true. But
Again,
Hey,
it was too easy. Hey, you know what? I'll put it this way. I was the underdog in this entire
no,
situation.
and you had me. You
and
had me.
I almost won it. I
Yeah.
almost pulled a miracle. I almost
yes.
pulled a Hail Mary.
I would have chosen you. Yeah.
I'm letting you know. Right,
I'm happy with. You know what?
I'm letting you know right now.
I'm happy with that. Hey, you might have won the battle, but the war is far from done.
I'm letting you know right now.
Still got F10.
I'm letting you know right now. Tomorrow, when that trophy store opens up, I'm buying myself a trophy.
Buy your freaking trophy. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna
F9
I will not
debate
go down.
champion.
All right, guys, go ahead and set up
Loki?
Loki. We got
All
like
right.
maybe 15 minutes.
We
Because
got-
honestly,
we can-
this.
I think we can do it in
Not
10. I think
We can wrap it up
Yeah.
maybe quicker than that. We'll see. Basically, guys, when this episode airs, what is it? We'll be talking right now. We're talking about Loki episode 3, which is what's it called? It was I forgot what it was called. Honestly, last one was called Variant. We got introduced to
wasn't it Lavandra? 'Cause
yes.
it was
the planet, wasn't
It
it?
was the planet's name.
Yeah.
It was like Lavandra. It was like it started with an L.
So basically, a quick little summary. This episode starts where episode 2 ends, where both Lokis go through the same portal, and then they try to chase each other and stuff like that from the TVA. They're both land on the TVA and stuff like that. And Loki grabs, I guess, the little teleporter thing, and they
the temp pad.
temp pad, and they're traveling through different times, different
They
areas.
did like 2 jumps.
Yeah, they did like 2 jumps, and they landed on one where it was another apocalypse world where basically the moon is like crashing onto this planet or something like that, and they are stuck because the battery, the temp pad is out of juice.
What would you say if that moon exploding was Galactus?
Oh, that would have been great. That'd be cool. I would have liked that.
Yeah, but they're not smart enough.
No, that's true. They're not that clever.
No, but I think that would have been really interesting. Is like,
well, knowing Marvel, they'll say it later on. Oh yeah, that was actually Galactus, like they did with the whole Peter Parker in Iron Man 2 thing. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh, that was Peter Parker.
Oh yeah, that little kid that like had the little Iron Man thing. That was Peter Parker.
But it didn't.
Well,
it
that
wasn't
was
him.
it. But the thing is that was a joke that a fan made.
Yeah.
It was a joke that a fan made, and then later on they then went,
We like
yeah,
that.
why not? Yeah, we like it.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Feige was like, that's actually really funny. I'm down. Like that doesn't hurt anything if I just say yeah, it is. Like it puts Peter kind of around the right age.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Is
it
there
makes
anything
sense.
to discuss from this episode besides the fact that they just kind of like
They only revealed
progress the characters just a little bit?
a little bit, but then they also revealed about the TVA, about the people that work for the TVA.
They're all variants.
They're all variants, and they all believe that they were chosen or created from the Time Watchers,
Timekeepers.
Timekeepers.
Yeah, the
They're
Timekeepers.
watchers.
I'm still on that thing of the Timekeepers are just like
They don't exist.
Wizard. I'm telling you, it's the Wizard of Oz. It's gonna be the Wizard of Oz.
No,
by the
like
end of this.
in all seriousness, because joking wise, I'm just gonna say, time skipping jet ski. Sure, why not? I'm gonna make it happen. That's my Mephisto for this series. That's fine.
If you get it, I don't.
Time skipping jet ski.
If it ends on
You
a
should get a
time
trophy from across the street.
Predicted Loki.
I swear to God, if they show up on a time jumping jet ski, I might throw a rock at my TV.
No!
At my TV, I might throw a rock.
Hey Loki, look what I got! It's a time jet ski. It's a time machine jet ski, Loki. Let's go!
Wow, it's so fast.
Oh my God, it's so fast! Look, we're going
Loki.
through all the times. Titan.
This is what
yeah.
I mean. He may have won the battle, but the war is far from done.
Look, Loki.
It's kind of fun.
But I do think that they are alluding to the fact that the timekeepers don't exist. It's undeniable at this point, because if these guys are all powerful and supposedly can create, members of the TVA to work for them, why are they pulling variants to work for them? That doesn't make any sense. So the TVA is supposed to be this grand specter that's supposed to be the all-powerful, entity that runs the sacred timeline. And now we're finding out that parts of it are a lie, that this isn't necessarily the religion we all think it is. It's breaking.
So what about if, because how they said that there was, because what they showed is they showed 3 timelines happening at once. And then they said that they were at war.
Yeah.
What about if it was they were able to control the 3, and the thing that makes and all 3 of these timelines are all isolated to themselves. So they're not saying, oh yeah, this is the sacred time. So they're saying this is the sacred timeline because this is our timeline. But there are 2 other timelines that other keepers are keeping under watch.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we have madness is because these timelines are beginning to branch and they start bleeding into the other timelines.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of start getting these alternate versions of characters.
Yeah.
Because the way that female Loki is talking is she is
Her name's
talking...
Sylvia now.
Sylvia.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also the name of Enchantress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It's Enchantress.
It's
Like,
Enchantress.
It's their way
because
of bringing
in the
Enchantress.
backstory that they said is that she
Yeah.
learned how to enchant people and take over them, which is kind of like, it's a different form of magic. She's already enchanting people. We can already assume that it is Enchantress.
My thinking is that I do think it is Loki, though. I think that it's Enchantress, but Loki has been reincarnated in her body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it's a combination, so that way you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Of it is
That's
Enchantress. We did put
But it's a Loki.
but it's still a Loki variant, so that way we're not lying.
Yeah.
And everything else. But eventually it's going to be this reveal of like, this is what's going on. I feel that the reason why we have true madness in the multiverse is because the time variance authority is disbanded because everybody realizes we're all variants. So if we're all variants, then if everyone's a variant, then no one's a variant.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is
Yeah.
no such thing as a variant now.
Yeah.
If we're all variants, then what's the point? Like, why are we here? Why are we erasing people? Why are we judging them?
Yeah.
And everything else? Because I'm a variant too. Shouldn't I be judged?
Mm-hmm.
And that automatically destroys the time variance authority. That leads into the multiverse of madness, and that leads into Doctor Strange kind of
This is assuming that
what's going on.
this is assuming that this is going to be, before the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
What if this is running alongside the films that are being released?
Well,
That's a strong.
here's the thing, though.
prediction,
It is though, because time is relative. They can always say this is what's going on during said time.
Mm-hmm. So that's a strong possibility. Yeah.
So I mean, you can. It could be. It could not be. It totally depends. It could be that where Loki begins is at the same time that Multiverse of Madness starts, and then while they're trying to figure out, while he's time skipping with Sylvie, Doctor Strange is dealing with whatever. Peter Parker is, dealing with whatever he's dealing with.
It would be interesting if the Doctor Strange movie begins as soon as Sylvia nukes the sacred timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way it's kind of like, okay, this movie started halfway through the Loki series.
Yeah.
And we're kind of seeing,
to give you a timeline.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's go into predictions.
Because everything right now is kind of up in the air.
Yeah,
it's
it
really
is.
hard to kind of go like, oh well, this takes place during this takes place during this.
This show is doing a good job of keeping you guessing and like really kind of like keeping you like, oh yeah, what we're doing is like not what you expect.
Yeah.
At least.
Prediction wise, where do you think this is headed? I mean, again, episode 3 was like up in the air.
Yeah.
I told you she was going after the timekeepers though.
Well, I mean, that was obvious.
No, you didn't say that last week. You were like,
I don't have to. It was obvious.
Where was she going, guys?
All right, Rene, what's your prediction?
I don't even know up to this point because the way it ends with them like trying to escape, but then their way of escaping is gone.
Okay.
So
Right.
it's like, okay, I can say I have really no prediction. of what's
Episode
gonna
4 is
happen.
going to go back in time.
We're gonna get like
The sequence of events that happened after they went through the portal.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like episode 4 will be much more interesting than this,
I
but
will
it
say
won't
this.
be.
I think
I will. Oh, sorry. Now I'm thinking right now. It just hit me. I will think that we'll get more backstory on Sylvia in the next episode. I think we're gonna get a backstory.
Her like a secret file.
Yeah.
I feel that Loki and Sylvia will be minor characters in the next episode.
They won't be in this next episode, I don't think.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel like it is.
So what I'm thinking is that they're leaving their story at Nuke, our moon crashing in, and then it's going to follow Owen Wilson's character
Okay,
the
the
moment that they
TVA.
leave,
Okay.
and it's going to go back to the TVA. He's going to be dealing with whatever's going on, and then he's going to roost them up, basically looking through like different apocalypses, kind of going like, well, we can't find them, so that means that they have to be in an apocalypse
Yeah.
somewhere. So that means that we need to start searching apocalypses. And I think what's going to happen is he's going to send out troopers to the apocalypses. And then that's going to lead them to, oh, I found who like is there. Like there was like a small anomaly in this one spot. We should go check it out just in case it's them. And that's how they kind of get out.
Okay.
And then that leads you to kind of bring everyone back together. But I think during this time, you're right. I think they that Owen Wilson, because he's not around Loki, is going to have that moment of he can talk freely about why they're hunting down this Loki. And he's also going to be able to talk about Loki himself, you know, how his grudge now against Loki, and saying basically, I was trying to help him, or I was trying to do this and he screwed us.
Okay.
My prediction is this. I'm going to time skipping jet ski, but hang on. Oh, I got to sneeze. Hang on.
Oh God, I can see.
Oh,
the
this is Marvel production stopping me from actually saying the correct prediction.
I can see the COVID in the air.
Oh my god. Here's what I think. I think that the big bad is Major Mobius. And I think, the only reason why is because Major Mobius has been the only one to explain to us how the TVA works, right?
Wait, so you think that Owen Wilson's the bad guy?
Owen Wilson, I don't think he's a full-on bad guy. Like I said, I don't think the TVA is like a full-on bad entity in the MCU. I think that they're just kind of like controlling,
Yeah.
and the whole show is to kind of like let go of that control to spawn different creations. I think that the timekeepers, we've already met them. I think that it is Major Mobius, and it's that girl that she was talking to, the one that was like, "Oh, I give you permission. Do I want to give you permission to use Loki and all this other stuff?" I think them two and the judge.
Oh, okay.
Or are they the same person? The
Same
judge
person.
Yeah, but I think that those two are probably timekeepers.
They're not.
Well, I'm going to say that I'm going to predict that they are. And one of the things that's kind of throwing me off is if these workers for the TVA are just variants that have been brainwashed, there's a significance in why he mentioned the jet ski. I feel like that kind of like fell off now that I'm thinking about like why it is that these variants
It's a past life.
yes.
Yeah.
I think that the reason why he mentioned the jet ski is to kind of ground himself to make it believable that, you know, he is a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know?
He kind of remembers who he was.
Yeah. But I do think that he is a timekeeper. I think that he is a part, or even if he's not a timekeeper, I do think that he is kind of like an asset to the big bad.
Because Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, does feel more free of doing what he wants to do.
Yes.
And then they even touched onto that in episode 2, where Loki and him are sitting down, and they're like, "Look at us. We're in the TVA. We're the most free-willed ones here, you know." And that was a way of them saying that there's something's
off.
There's
a
something.
little bit.
Maybe he's not a timekeeper, but there is something to Owen Wilson's character.
Maybe Gary is another timekeeper too.
Yeah.
The thing is that I feel that the reason being is because Owen Wilson has been reset too many times.
Okay.
That it's not keeping. Because remember how she says it's always like all, you know, those circles, they're all you. The reason being is because I feel like Owen Wilson keeps getting reset, and he doesn't remember doing specific things.
Okay, so he's just a variant that's just too valuable that
He's a variant that he's a variant that understands how other variants work. And if we turn him into a blank slate, then we lose the biggest part that makes him so valuable.
Okay.
But but the thing is that he's so fragile that if he just tips too far one way, everything falls apart. So I think that's kind of the route that they're going in. I think that as a variant, you'll find out that he's somebody else. I feel like Mobius isn't his real name.
No,
I feel like
I think they have to keep that.
That Mobius.
Yeah.
I feel that for a variant, because my thinking is that every single time that somebody from the TVA dies, they just rip them from their old universe. Like they rip them from a universe, brainwash them, and then put them back to work. So that way nobody kind of goes like, "Oh, well, that person's new." It's just a variant over a variant, and then they just put your old memories back in, or they erase some memories that you don't necessarily need, or whatever it is. And that's one way that you could do that. But yeah, I do feel that either he's going to be somebody else, or he's going to be just a variant that's just been reset far too many times.
All right. Well,
And it's not keeping.
We're gonna have to wait until episode 4 to find out.
We'll wrap it up here because we used up most of our time.
Yeah, with the Fast Saga.
Yeah.
Renee, go ahead and tell us where our listeners can find us.
So, if you guys are listening to this if you guys are watching this on YouTube, just know that you guys can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Keeping Up with the Nerds or Keep It With Nerds. And if you guys are listening to an audio platform, don't forget that we have a YouTube channel. And if you guys are listening to this, you can watch our pretty little faces right here on YouTube. So please hit the subscribe button and the like button. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. Because
Yeah.
honestly, you know.
Let us know what you guys think about F9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
I totally agree with that, and that's why you should like the video. The video. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure to ring that bell. Not only that, but also I feel like this is a video that deserves at least 200 likes. So
He's aiming already when we only have like 58 subscribers.
This is
No,
like
but
our
but
third video podcast. Like,
but here's the thing, though. It's an easy goal if every single one of you shares the video.
Yeah.
Share the video with a friend. Make sure that they like it too. Make sure that share it with a friend. Maybe they'll like us. Maybe they won't. Who knows? Maybe they'll hate us so much they'll have to see what we do more.
Exactly. There you go.
So send the video out. I want to see 200 likes. I feel like 200 likes is an easy goal.
it really is.
I feel like it's
be.
an easy goal. At least 100.
We have 100 followers on Instagram, so
100, yeah.
if
So
one
I'm
of
saying-
them, if each and every person shares it to another person and tell them to like it, we'll
an easy
we'll
goal.
match it. Yeah.
It's a
I want
very
a
easy
sub goal of 100.
You want a sub
A
goal?
sub goal of 100 by
Sub-
the end of July.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
All right, let's do it.
But I want 100 likes on this video. Let's make it happen. Let's see it.
From
Make it
200 to
happen.
100. 50 likes.
And last thing, guys, don't forget about our website at
Up with the Nerds.
www.keepingupwiththenerds.com, where you get to see all of our profiles and all of our videos, and then the timer on when the next video comes out as well, too.
Next
Absolutely.
podcast.
And don't
Yes,
forget
our
Bryan's
podcast.
OnlyFans. He's very shy about it,
Yeah.
but it's very interesting.
A lot of feet. A lot of
the
feet.
things he's
Can we
doing,
close it out now?
The things
This
he is
bit's
doing,
done.
the things he's doing with food is very impressive.
I'm going to close it out. We
Okay.
ready?
Yeah, go for
Bryan, take it away, you sexy beast.
Thank you. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue number 53. My name is Bryan.
Renee. And Nick.
Recording at Undercity Comics in Whittier, California. We want to thank everyone for listening to this issue and hope to see you all next time.